Okay. Yeah. So, how are you doing? I know you weren't expecting to meet it at this time. I'm throwing you off.
Um,
And my name was
yeah,
off. Everything's off.
it's okay. I just go right in. So three major things happened. Um, the first one is I understood that my ex is gonna fly back home, and this has made the shifts in my system. The reflections that I got from women are increasing the cognitive dissonance in the system in some part. I did some work with that part. And after integrating him more into the system, I've noticed that the hatred toward my ex has started to shift into petting her or feeling sorry for her.
Where did you say you said feeling sorry for her, but before that you said something her? I didn't hear that
Petting.
word. Okay, got
And
it.
the girl that I told you that I met that had a look with an ex,
Mhm.
seems like we're getting closer. So I'd say that these are the main things that happened.
The last time we met, you talked about an event, or I think it was an event or a party, and
Yes, yes.
you were
Hmm.
deeply connecting with women.
Yes. And then I had 3 days ago, I drank a little bit of coffee, and it brings up more of my masculine parts.
I don't get that effect with coffee. I wish I did.
Yeah,
I'm drinking tea, by the way. This is
yeah,
tea.
yeah. It it's very similar to when I microdosed on the steroid. It's a very
Hmm.
similar effect for my system. The two main things that really come into the dissonance, that teenage part, where I was here in the naked beach and I saw this girl coming out of the water. She was naked, I was naked. And when I looked at her, I felt the Lucifer part coming up. So I approached her, complimenting her feminine energy, and immediately there was sexual energy between us, and we hugged after 5 seconds, and almost immediately I'm getting hard.
Hmm.
And then I lean in to kiss her cheek, and I've noticed that she was also okay for me kissing her in the mouth. And that was 30 seconds after we met. And I had to go because some delivery guy was supposed to bring me some food. After about a minute of me understanding her logistics here on the island, she said that she has a boyfriend, but gave me a cognitive dissonance. And then I asked her if
Yeah.
they're in an open relationship. She said no. That was interesting for me.
Hmm.
So I left. I came back and I had a very similar situation with another girl.
Oh,
That situation lasted for like 2 or 3 minutes. And then she left. And I stood there in front of the sunset and I cried for like 20 minutes
Mm,
because that teenage part could not believe his eyes, his reality of what's happening.
mhm.
And I've put some music that resonates in his emotions or frequency. And to my pleasant surprise, there was more freedom to move my body according to the music. I was even singing a little bit. So something got untangled a little bit
Yeah,
there. Then I started to have shivers.
I remember you talking about how it didn't feel comfortable to at least one of your parts to dance and be free like that. So
Yes. So there was a little bit of a more of an opening. And that day, that was 3 days ago, it was an earthquake to my system. And after that, my sexual energy started to come up very strongly.
do you have a
And I was
sense, was that
able,
his energy or another part's energy? Was that your teenager's sexual energy, or do you
I
know?
don't
It's
think
okay
so.
if you don't think so. Okay.
You know, there was more access to the masculine parts.
Hmm.
So I was mainly digesting that experience the day after. Was a desire to smoke weed. I wasn't sure if it's escapism or not. I smoked. Then yesterday, in hindsight, I saw that it was balanced to the system because it's too much change for that teenage part.
Hmm. How's he doing? How's this teenager? This is a lot of change for him. Is
With
he
him
around?
directly.
And yeah, is he here? I'm wondering if he'd like to connect. Are you here, teenage
Yes.
part? Yeah. How would you like to be called? Do you want to be called teenage part? You might
It's
not.
okay.
That's okay. All right.
Mhm.
So you've been through a lot of change recently. Would you like to share about that from your perspective? A lot's been going on.
The way women react to other parts in the system that I'm apparently a part of
Hmm.
doesn't make sense to me at all.
Yeah. What doesn't make sense for you? That you would be interesting to women? Is that the part that doesn't make sense? Or how would you describe it? What is it that doesn't make sense for you?
They tend to trust me in seconds. Almost every day, some other girl crying, spilling her heart out.
Hmm.
Almost every day. And then some of them also have immediately open up sexually to me.
Hmm. Does that excite you, scare you? Neither of those things. What is it that happens when
shock.
You're
It's
shocked by it.
shocking to me.
What is it you believe should be happening? Because this apparently is not what you would expect.
I wouldn't expect even talking to them or engaging with them at all.
Okay. And why is that? What do you believe about yourself?
That I don't deserve their presence, and it will not be in their best interest to have me around them.
Could you share a little bit more about that? I sort of get from your perspective that you don't think you deserve their presence, but why do you think it would be bad for them? I guess I'm hearing you say you might harm them or hurt them in some way. Am I not getting that right?
I can tell that this is some burden that I'm being influenced by,
Sure, sure.
but from my perspective, I don't.
You don't know what it is.
I perceive that they are not supposed to receive any value from me.
Okay. Where did you learn that? I'm grabbing a blanket, by the way. That's why I'm turning around. My legs are cold.
Where did I learn that? I don't know. It
No,
was
no.
just my whole life experience.
Okay. As long as you remember that that makes sense to you, that that's who you are.
So identified with it. And what's one of the things that are crazy to me is that other parts speak for me. For example, when I come up with my cognitive dissonance, some other part says, I'm noticing that there's a part that can't believe that this is happening right now, especially when there is physical or sexual contact with these women.
And what else? Like, I'm just sort of thinking what was happening there is I was thinking, making theories, and like it was going very fast in my head. It's so that none of them are very clear. And then I just paused for a second and said, I should just ask you, what else has this been like for you? I want to pause my parts that are postulating and just hear from you. I think there's more that you're carrying around about this.
What I mean, in my experience, what is happening is not supposed to happen.
And what's bad about it if it does happen, right? It seems like you're concerned about it. What's going to happen?
I think it just gives me this cognitive dissonance.
Hmm. What's bad about that? It's not comfortable. I mean, I get that, but why is it not okay to be uncomfortable in that way, to have that dissonance?
It's overwhelming.
Hmm. So if if you how do I want to say this? If you sit with that overwhelmingness yourself, that's going to be overwhelming and hard. Do you know that Neo is available for you to be with? So you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to be overwhelmed alone.
Yeah. And for some reason, that overwhelm makes me cry.
Okay. Is it okay to cry?
Yes.
I mean, this sounds like not to me, I'm just speaking from my perspective. This doesn't sound like a weakness crying, like a sadness crying. It just sounds like a fullness, like an overwhelmedness, but it seems positive to me.
I would say so.
Yeah, like an awareness that you never knew was possible.
Well, back in the time, I used to look at certain men, and I would want to be like them. But then the system has matured in a way where I didn't know that I didn't know.
Hmm.
So there is a version that is better than everything that I've seen.
Yeah, yeah. I have a part that would like to share something with you. Would you be open to receiving it? It is from a part, but I actually was having a similar conversation with some friends recently, and I will keep it brief, but just say, I think the most masculine thing to be is fully yourself. And there are lots of ways to be masculine, but many of us hide and deny how we were made, right? So there's lots of ways to express our masculinity, and I think the most masculine thing to do is to be fully you and embody it. And I think I'm speaking to the part, I think you are experiencing that women gravitate towards that when Neo fully embraces who he is. I think it's shocking for you, or more fully embraces me. Can't speak for whether he's fully embraced that or not, but
I agree with you with that principle. Yesterday at the gym, when I was done working out, the demon approached. I was talking with this girl for about a minute and a half. And then she rolled her eyes up a little bit because she was as a positive reaction about something, and then laughed. And the demon immediately pictured how she looks like when she orgasms.
the last word,
Then
d- it got
when she
cut off.
orgasms.
Okay.
So then the demon is looking at her, and there was another part that said, "Don't say it." The demon said, "Trust me, I can say it. It's okay."
Mhm.
And then he said, "Can I be very honest with you?" She said, "Yes." And then he told her, when you roll your eyes like this and you laugh like that, I can imagine how you look like when you orgasm, and then said some other things.
Mhm.
And she totally loved it. This kind of dynamics completely breaks my brain.
Sure. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's like
you do
I'm
know.
getting
Go
this
ahead.
shock and this freeze coming up.
Is it you or is the freeze another part?
I'm not sure. I think it's coming from me.
Okay. One of the things I'd just like to remind you of is that you are a teenager, right? And there are other matured parts of Neo, older parts of Neo, and they respond differently than you do to women.
Completely differently.
Yeah.
So just by thinking about this dynamic at the gym, my heart started beating faster.
Hmm. What do you notice as as your heart beats faster? Is it
This
excitement or fear?
It's hard for me to distinguish a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm asking, because my instinct says it's more excitement, but you might interpret it as fear. They're very similar, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Excitement
a
and
very
fear.
similar feeling signature.
Yeah.
I, I think the demon is excited about it, and then
Hmm.
it is filtered through the teenage part through
Hmm.
fear.
Yeah. So that might have come from another part. I think it may have, but when I speak to the teenager, when I'm with you, if you and or whatever you're protecting unburden or transform that belief, um, that might be useful for your whole system.
There is a child part that perceives certain women as angels.
I'd be interested in that. Is that something you're curious about?
I already know this part.
Okay.
That part identifies very strongly with the robot kid from the movie AI, if you know what it
Okay.
is.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So that child looks at some women as the blue fairy or this unattainable angel.
Hmm.
I saw this picture of, I don't know who made it, when this god or when the human go with the fingers like this.
Hmm. Hmm.
I
Yeah.
said it was so bad.
Michelangelo.
Yeah,
Yeah. What does it want you to know? I'd stay with that image for a moment. I think that might be some important downloaded information for you.
there is a part that is assuming that self is kind of reaching out.
Hmm. To girls or to the universe, to girls or to God, or both.
The self is
So
reaching
girls,
out, tries to reach out to that part, the child part.
oh, okay. What's there? It's there when you want to connect with it. The child part is available and self is always there. The teenager would probably need to give a little bit of space if that's okay, or you can stay and keep connecting if that's important.
Noticing that there is more access to self.
Hmm. And so, how do you feel towards this young part that you're reaching out to?
It's as if the part is too far away and there is some kind of a disconnect between.
Okay. All right. You could ask in between and notice it first.
I see an image of Quasimodo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame, another
Hmm.
character that I'm highly identified with
Yeah.
in his beast mode right before, right after unshackling from towards the ending of the movie. There's a very strong resemblance in that image that I'm seeing and the demon part.
Hmm.
And I feel this raw masculine fury.
Yeah. Is it okay to connect with that? Something it probably wants to share with you.
And the demon can alchemize, let's say, that rage
Mhm.
and fury into passion.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Does that make sense to you? It's how he fuels, it's how he operates with passion.
So this emotional pattern is being heightened with coffee.
Mm.
And there is this fogginess.
Stay with the fog. Gently turn your attention to the fog. Just let it know it's here.
I said to the fog that it's me. Then the fog said that my presence is highly overwhelming
Mm.
to the child.
So that's how he helps. He helps make it not quite so overwhelming. If you're open to it, ask him how else he helps.
That foggy, that kind of a filter part is saying, it gives the analogy that imagine that kid was in the darkness, from pitch dark, pitch black darkness for years. So a bright light would, let's say, damage his eyes. So it has to be introduced to that kid
Yeah.
carefully. So I said to him, "Very thanking for protecting the kid this way." He says, "Sure." Then it switched to a scene from The Lion King where Scar is lunching on Simba.
Hmm.
It seems like some kind of a testing part.
What does he want you to know about that, or is he sharing already? It's great if he is.
Just noticing that with the pattern of breathing, more and more self-accessible.
Wonderful.
When I was integrating yesterday, there was the teenage part was introduced to their other parts in the system, and there was this thought that was looping. Uh, I can't believe we finally pulled it off and we made it.
Hmm.
For this part, it's like he has been going through this desert, and finally he's reaching the promised land.
Yeah, it's like they're returning home.
Exactly. Now I can sense the overwhelm of the teenage part.
Hmm. Ask him about his overwhelm, his concerns.
I asked him if he wants to share about the overwhelm. He said, no, it's too much. And then I felt a little bit of sexual energy coming up.
Should you ask him if that's his energy or another part? Teenagers have sexual energy. Could be his. That
Doesn't know.
okay. Ask him if it's all right to stay with it. Stay there with it. And let him know that you're right here and that it's okay.
The teenage part is imagining how life would look like when the masculine parts would be fully embodied without having resistance from other parts. This is the promised land from the teenage part's perspective.
Hmm. And Neo, I'd like to encourage you to ask him about the promised land and have him share a bit more about that. Might want to tell you more about it.
Being aware of my own light and seeing the light in others while having the desire and intention to connect so those lights could connect with one another.
Hmm.
While being able to have complete presence in the moment without experiencing any fear-based beliefs influencing
Hmm.
perception and behavior. And something similar happened when there was the initial emotional awakening at age 26, 7. I had this major shift in the system. So I've experienced healing a part for the first time. I didn't know IFS back then.
Hmm. And does it know that you're here to help it with that?
That part wants to continue sharing
Great, great.
that when I had this awakening, I told it to my friend, one of my best friends back then. Then I told him, listen, you have to go out, you have to see what I can do. And then he said, okay. And he went to this festival and he was shocked because of the levels of freedom and positive intention without any resistance that I had that was reflected on the outside with positive reactions. that friend was shocked. He didn't understand how. He told me, "How do you do it?"
Hmm.
Then I don't even remember exactly what I told him, but it was something like, "Well, I'm just spreading love and without needing anything in return," something like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can see that in a spiralic way, going back to there, but in a more integrated way. We, for a moment, saw this image of a snake.
Mm. And what does that mean with you?
Snake is saying it is time to move to the next level or
Mm.
stage.
And is there a way it would like to help you? You can ask the snake, or does it just want to tell you that it's time?
Now I see an image of Simba when he's shocked completely when his dad is appearing in the sky. Tells him, "Remember who you are."
Hmm. Hmm.
And the teenage part is saying, "But I'm not worthy of that."
How do you feel towards him saying that? What would you like to share with him or allow him to know?
That it's here, worthy or not, it is here.
Yeah. And the part that feels unworthy can be transformed of that belief if and when that's something that would be important.
Yes, it will come in later stage. So I'm experiencing that the teenage part is contracting. And I see all the masculine parts telling the teenage part that they are all here and it's
Hmm.
happening. And then he says, but what if I will disappoint you all? So they ask him, how could you disappoint?
Yeah.
He says, but if I would be too anxious, I wouldn't perform well, I wouldn't meet your expectations. Then immediately he realized that he's projecting his own expectations onto them.
Mhm. Yeah. Does he know that he doesn't have to do it? That other parts can do it? He doesn't have to be involved if he doesn't want to be.
He has to be, all the parts have to be in their own pace.
I'm curious where their belief came from on that. 'Cause parts are allowed to rest. Parts are allowed to be calm and peaceful and find a place to. Every part doesn't have to be involved with everything.
Oh, I agreed with that.
Okay. They can observe. This part can observe if it wants. I'm not trying to get rid of it or push it away, but it said it's anxious that it wouldn't perform well. It may not have to. It wouldn't have to be the one doing it.
Also agreed.
How does it respond hearing that? Does that help it with its anxiety?
For a moment. And then he realized that he wants to join the frequency slash place slash dimension of the other parts that operate less from fear.
Hmm.
I'm getting very fast flashbacks from high school
Okay.
in
Well,
different
let
scenarios.
this part know you're getting those.
Then he said that if those masculine parts were present back in high school, he would have been a rock star.
Wouldn't we all? Yeah, I hear him though. He was really stuck. He wasn't sure what to do.
He said high school was fucking hell.
Hmm. Is he letting you know about that, Neo? Is he? sharing what was hellish for him in high school.
Mhm.
Great.
It's showing me that there was this one girl with huge boobs
Hmm.
that he fantasized about her so much, and deep inside he knew that she's into him, but
Hmm.
he couldn't make the move. It was so fucking painful.
And would you ask him why he couldn't? What was his hesitancy?
Didn't perceive himself as worthy
Mm.
and was afraid to make a move. She even made the move, but he couldn't believe that she made the move.
Mhm. And what was he afraid would happen if he tried? Was he afraid he'd fail? Was he afraid she'd make fun of him? What was his fear?
It's like he just couldn't feel comfortable in his own skin ever talking with her.
Mm. Does he know who he's talking to? Does he know who you are?
It's overwhelming him.
Could you say that again? I apologize. I didn't hear you.
It's overwhelming him.
Mm. Being with you?
Having direct contact with me.
Yeah.
So it's as if this is him and I'm behind him watching what he sees.
Mhm.
But going like this for him is overwhelming.
Yeah. 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 Well, ask him if you'd like to do it with a little bit more distance. Would you like a little bit more space between you and him? Sometimes that can create less overwhelm.
He says no, that he wants me to experience what he experienced.
Okay, great. Is that okay with you?
Shows me situations with other girls and how he was tortured in his own prison.
Mm.
a deep level of powerlessness and loneliness because of that cage that is made out of a sense of worthlessness and shame.
Yeah. What would he like to do with or about that cage? Would he like to get out of it?
From his perspective, it's impossible to escape.
Oh,
The only place he could escape to is computer games and virtual reality.
well, he has you now. You can let him know you can help him with that cage.
He needs more witnessing.
Mhm. And please let him know that that makes sense. And I'm not trying to rush him, just letting him know it's available. Letting him know that he doesn't have to stay stuck. But yeah, for sure, there's more that he wants to share with you.
And he shows me how my best friend at the time told me that one of the girls gave him a blowjob in some place. And couldn't believe it
Mhm.
initially, but then he saw how my friend reacted and it seemed reliable. That
Mhm.
helped very much. How another time he was kind of he made fun of when he left home and cried without them knowing. Now I saw a betrayal for in, in school. Again, they used to be a best friend.
Mhm. And how was he betrayed? Would he share that with you? He may already be doing that.
Me and the other best friends, it was when I was in fifth grade. I moved to a different school and then he joined me a year
Hmm.
later. And then I was very excited for him to join. And I prepared the grounds for him. And I was very kind of loyal to him. And then once I introduced him to other friends, he kind of forgot about me. And I had these soccer gloves and a watch, and I was poor, and he was pretty well off, and he stole them from me.
But no.
Now he remembers that there was a year or two in school where I was pretty popular among the girls.
Yeah, what does he make of that?
Wasn't aware of that.
Oh, okay.
The demon wrote in, we are very popular now. Didn't reach that part. Now he remembers in like fourth grade or something like this, or third grade, how out of nowhere all the kids from class called him out from the window to come out and play. He was shocked.
Hmm.
There was this girl he had a crush on since from second grade to 11th grade.
What is he noticing about his crush?
There was this one time in sixth or seventh grade where there was this dance and he somehow pulled it off with courage and invited her to dance with him. And then she said no, and he was destroyed.
Oh,
It's like having a mini ayahuasca trip. My whole life is flashing
hmm.
by. It's fucking interesting.
It's this part sharing his experiences with you. He's wanted to do this for a long time, most likely.
There was this one kid that had a problem in his jaw, and he made fun of a lot. Now there was this kind of a sense of guilt of participating in it to a degree.
Hmm.
It's like there was a degree of participation in it, and immediately there was also this consciousness, knowing that it's not okay to do it.
Yeah. Well, let him know that you know this, you know that, and it might be helpful to remind him that he was a kid. Doesn't take away his guilt or shame. We're not trying to do that, but just to remind him that he was young. These things were happening.
I have a similar part to my mom that says, what I've done is not excusable. Just so the memories kind of stopped popping up. And I asked him, how is he feeling? He says, there was a relief
Mhm.
showing all of that. So he's scanning if there is more.
I'm so glad he's being thorough and checking. Glad he's taking his time.
He shows me more dynamics of girls back in school. How this was, there was this one girl. Now he realized that she was pretty into him. She even came to his house once. And she was way taller than him, like a head above him. Brought up shame in him,
Mm.
the height differential. Mhm. He's showing me how in like fifth grade, I think, he was passing notes with this crush that he had,
Mhm.
and he was sure that she's into this best friend of mine. And then she said, no, I'm not. It, through the messaging with the notes in class. And then he asked, and me. And then when she saw it, she was blushing so hard.
Mhm.
And now he's shocked because, again, someone was really into him and he just couldn't see it.
And all these
So
things
now
that he
he
sort of didn't notice. How was that for him?
so now he's shocked and he's saying, wait, so
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes girls were into me even back then.
Hmm. Yeah, he just didn't recognize it or notice it.
Now he's realized that he or a part of him was sabotaging it all the time.
Yeah.
Also in high school with that girl with the big boobs, it was self-sabotage.
Hmm.
Right before I coughed, I heard him say, "What the fuck? I am my own prisoner."
Yeah. Yeah. Let him know that he was a kid. It's all how he was.
How he was what?
He was feeling stuck and trapped. He was feeling stuck and trapped. Yeah. He didn't know. He didn't know this was how he was protecting himself and you. And he was doing his best job.
There's a very strong aching in his heart right now
Yeah.
because he's now realizing that a lot of the hell that he experienced was self-inflicted.
Hmm.
And he's realizing the demon is here to set us free.
Hmm. The demon wants to help too.
Now I feel this kind of this fury again that I felt from the Quasimodo part in his beast
Yeah.
mood.
Hmm.
It's exactly the same,
As
right?
the same as.
In Quasimodo, when Esmeralda was being set on fire and him being chained until the beast in him came out. It was also self-inflicted.
Mhm.
Me programmed by Frodo, his dad, stepdad.
And I'm going to invite you to let these parts know that I'm going to have to leave, but they may want to continue meeting with you, Nia.
Mhm. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. Sorry about the brevity of our appointment today, but we'll pick up next week.
Yes, thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you for sharing your teenager part with me today.
Yes,
Yeah.
continue my thing. See
Yes.
you next week.
All right. Yeah. Thanks. Bye.